Part of the premise of actually working with social innovation and change is to recognize that no context is really alike, and that things really have to be adapted to a particular context, particular people, particular needs. So the first step is to define and qualify the actual issue or problem that you're working with. Often we tend to really go into solution mode very quickly and come up with a lot of different actions and activities to do. Only to find out later that we might not even have looked at the right problem. So the first step is to really try to fall in love with the problem and really try to be curious and explorative and humble when you look at a particular problem, and really look into who are the people that are experiencing this, what have people done before to try to overcome it, and how can we try to really see it from new angles. The next step is to think about how would it look like if this issue was solved. So really, what kind of change would you want to see happen, political change or social change? So this is your change objective. So it's basically thinking about how the world would look like if this issue was solved in your particular context. You come up with some objectives, obviously, and say, this is what we want to get out of it, this is what we hope to get out of it, and then along the way, you make room to actually stop up now and then and look at your objectives. Is it working? What have we learned so far? Has there come anything up in context that makes it necessary to change things? So really, like, having a period of not just saying, now we're going to implement activities for half a year, but really try to design a process where you can learn and adapt along the way. When you have done that, the next step is to then develop solutions. Again, not go into like one line of doing things necessarily from the beginning, but to really ask yourself, open up, like, how might we solve this problem? How have other people worked on solving the problem? What does the problem look like for the people who are affected by it? And what would be interesting and new and explorative way to deal with this? So step 3 is to test and try out your idea. And it makes a lot of sense to look at it as an experiment where you set time aside along the way to learn and discuss whether your idea is working or not, and what can be done to improve and adapt. So after testing a particular idea or a particular technology or approach, it's really important that you then sit together and really collect the learning that you've had. Often it would be a thing that you haven't tried before, so more than results, the learning is actually the important, because that is what you can take with you and use to actually make it better for the next phase. So if it's, for example, a particular event that you want to try to look at the impact of, this could be done rather quickly by really getting some feedback from the participants and really looking at what you can do better for the next time. So what this model hopefully illustrates is the importance of learning and adapting along the way. Whether it is in shorter loops where you're having maybe one event that you want to do and test and gather feedback on that will then inform the next time you do the event, or if you're talking maybe bigger, more complex projects over a year or 2 years, that it is actually it is a loop where you continually adapt and learn along the way, and where learning is something that is actively used when then designing the next phase of the project. So while this hopefully gave a very brief overview about the logic of this way of working, later you will be introduced to some people that have actually worked with it, and we will dig much more into the particular steps and with practical tools and exercises that can hopefully inspire you.